I get tired of it eventually.
It's all good.
I never get tired of
Good evening. If any of y'all would like to speak tonight, we have a sign-in sheet over here in the 3-ring binder, and that'll give you 3 minutes to talk when we get to that point. And we'll need those filled in before the meeting starts. Okay, and then we usually start our meeting with an invocation, so if everybody will rise for that, we'll start there. Are you okay?
Holy Father, we thank you for the blessing of the day that you've given to us. Father, we thank you for the rain and sending it. It's been a blessing after these years of drought. We really enjoy it. It's been great. So we thank you for that blessing. We ask, Father, that you would give us wisdom and discernment as we consider this evening's agenda, and as we make these important decisions regarding the conditions that serve our city. Thank you, Father, for all the people that serve. Make the city the wonderful place that it is. Thank you for all these blessings.
Amen. All right, and we will call the meeting to order at 6:30, and we'll start off with pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Good evening. All right, so we have a short agenda tonight. We have full council here, so we have quorum. What is that? I have no idea.
Mic check.
Be careful. Okay. All right. So tonight we'll start with our regular agenda items. 2A is discuss and consider approval of awarding a contract to LCR Transport for the 2026 ditch culvert repair maintenance program in the amount of $69,106.75, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement and related contract documents.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Excuse my voice, it's a little hoarse today. We're bringing to you the bid process for the 2026 ditch culvert repair maintenance program. Back on April 17th, bids were let out for the program. Bids stayed open until stayed closed until May the 8th when we opened up here at City Hall. We had 3 bidders on the contract. LCR at $69,000, Meyer Concrete at $96,000, and Proficient Construction at $189,100. So it's staff recommendation after viewing all the contracts, all the bids, that we award the contract to LCR. Any questions?
All right, Councilman Brown. Councilman Alexander.
Have you worked with LCR before? Have they done work here before?
Yes, LCR was the contractor who did our road maintenance program last year, and they're the ones that are actually currently doing our road maintenance program.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. So this just be a part of an extension of what they do as far as on the road side?
Yes, it'll be the drainage part.
You've been pleased with it?
Yes, so far.
Councilman Hopkins.
So the thing that really puzzled me, and we already chatted about this, is just the disparity between the pricing that came back. I reviewed the RFQ that you sent out. I think it was extremely competent. I'm not lacking in anything that I can see. And I've reviewed lots of RFQs in my day. So it still surprises me that we got the delta between the bidders based on the specification. But in that regard, I have absolutely no problems about awarding it to the lowest bidders.
It's just to clarify on the bids themselves. Reviewing the bids, LCR did not submit a bid for mobilization because they're already here. They didn't bid on the flagging because they're already here. And also they tried to bid it enough where they didn't have to deal with another contractor while they're working. So they're local, they have small overhead. So that's where you see that difference between those bottom 2 prices. Now the outlier, the other one that was $189,000, that's the outlier.
It was an outlier.
Yeah.
It's definitely a benefit to the city because it allows us to basically bundle the two contracts and get the benefit of the lower price for the culverts and drainage.
Yes.
So, it's excellent work. Thank you for the RFQ.
Councilman Watson.
Councilman Walker.
I just was gonna say that, I think we expected that LCR was probably gonna come in, we hoped anyway, low, because they could bundle it.
Correct.
And I think if we adjust for the things you mentioned, they're probably not that far off from it. That delta looks less significant if we correct for that.
Yes.
I don't have any issue with this award at all. Councilman Clements.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is, kind of disappointed not to see the safety in there at Wardy Road and Casey Road. I know we talked about that before. Sticks up above the road, it's a road hazard.
Is that the one on Woodward Road?
Yeah, right there at Casey at the intersection.
Yeah.
Sticks up about this far above the road. Somebody's gonna run into it. It needs to be trimmed.
Well,
The wrong safety in.
We could, yeah, that's the one on Woodward Road right before you get to Casey Road.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
The one that has the,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I brought it up.
We've discussed that with LCR and there will
They
be,
just need a solid plan. That's all they have to do.
yes, there'll be something done to them.
Okay, good. I figure I keep bringing it up until somebody gets
Yeah,
out of it.
it'll get done, yes. There's been,
We
yeah,
hear you.
communication,
That's all I got. So.
yes.
All right, Aaron, so as we had spoke before, when we looked at this originally, so they're gonna do this in conjunction with the road that they are fixing, correct? So we wouldn't expect to see them in different locations. It'll be together with the road as the road is being repaired.
Yeah, just, in my understanding with them, yes, it'll be done while they're doing that actual road themselves. There may be times where they may send guys to the, ahead of time to get that done. So there may be a little separation between them, but for the most part, they're gonna wanna keep their crews together, their flag together at the same time
Absolutely.
to help minimize costs.
Okay, well, this will also make this go a lot quicker because they'll be doing it all at the same time and we don't have to wait. Everybody's not
Yes.
working on top of each other and having to schedule around. So inside here, you said the only thing that they didn't include on here was they didn't include the mobilization because they're here, flagging.
Yes,
And what
flagging
else?
and mobilization. Those are the two bid items that they didn't input in there.
Okay.
They did, obviously, they priced it enough where they try to get the competition out there.
Okay.
I have one more question, Mayor, if I may.
Councilman, what's it?
Watson.
Yep, I got you.
Will we be able to send out notifications on social media and on our website as we did for the road maintenance program?
Yes, ma'am.
It's starting on May 18th, just to give people a heads up so that they know.
Yes,
And I'm thinking in particular, some of these look like bigger jobs. We want to make sure we're letting homeowners in the area.
yes, I'll probably start, since we did the road maintenance overall itinerary of the jobs, I'll probably do individual, like, say Casey Road's gonna be done, this week.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause they'll be milling, I think they milled, Casey this past week, they're doing the edge repair this week, and from the sounds of it, they'll probably pave it, Thursday, Friday, but depending on the weather.
Yeah,
So-
if we have the bandwidth to put out regular updates on social
Yes.
media, I think people appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll
Thank you.
Aaron, will you go spot check them on this? Because I remember the last time the city did the bar ditch and maintenance program, it was pretty disappointing.
yeah,
So can you go check on them?
yes, I will.
Okay, good.
Anything on here?
Need a motion?
Need a motion for this?
I'll move to approve awarding a contract to LC Rama Transport for the 2026 ditch culvert repair maintenance program in the amount of $69,106.75 and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement and related contract documents.
I'll second.
Sorry, I'm just writing. We'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, thank you.
It's unanimous. Moving on, the public comment, it's not related to any posted items, would be Miss Kathy Brown.
I wanted to commend the mayor and the entire council for their start on the work of road maintenance around the neighborhoods in the right-of-ways. That is something that is so critically important in so many ways, and it's deeply appreciated that that work has begun. I look forward every time I drive out to see where the trucks are next. It's made our roads safer for us to drive on, because without stop signs, there are a lot of near misses because you can't see oncoming traffic. I have seen school children get into the bushes literally to get out of the way of cars that are driving on the roads because the trees come so far out. Walkers have the same issue. And this is not to mention the need for clear right-of-way in case of wildfire. And the A&M still rates us as one of the highest probabilities of wildfires in Texas. So again, hats off to all of you guys to finally get that going and getting it through. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Right, that is the only public we have tonight. And so we're going to do the reports by elected officials, city staff on items of community interest. In accordance with section 551.0415 Government Code, topics discussed under this item are limited to expressions of thanks, congratulations, or condolence, information regarding holiday schedules, and honorary or salutatory in recognition of a public official, public employee, or other citizen, a reminder about an upcoming event organized or sponsored by the governing body, information regarding a social ceremony or community event, and announcements involving an imminent threat to the public health and safety of people in the political subdivision that has arisen after the posting of the agenda. Okay. I'm going to announce it on June 6th. We have music in the park. Actually, we have stargazing that night in the park. Also want to let y'all know that there has been a group of kids, there's about 12 kids in the Bulverde Hills neighborhood who are riding their bikes to the park. Okay. Be very careful out there when we're driving by. They're not paying attention. They're probably all between 11 and 15. And they're riding their bikes back and forth to the park with their basketball in hand. So just be careful driving through there. I know, spread the word for us, please, about that. That's about all I have for this next week. I don't know, is anybody on the send anything? Anything on the send?
Bad weather moving in tonight.
Yeah, we have bad weather, but thank you for the rain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be careful with the water crossings, absolutely, especially tonight. And we'll hopefully not get that much rain in our drains and our ditches. Okay, moving on. So we are going to go into, oh wait, how are we doing this, Mike?
You have the option to conduct the interviews in an open session, and then if you desire to go into an executive session, you may do so at that time.
Okay. All right, so we would like to conduct them, if council's all in accordance, and we'll vote on this in just a second, in accordance of having an open interview process, and then we can discuss it in executive session. Okay, is anybody opposed to that? Yeah, that way we get them all at the same time, and then we can discuss that in executive session. Okay, so we're going to start with the way this will work is we'll have everybody who's going to be on that board, or who is applying for that board or being considered, to come front and have a seat in the white chairs here. So we are actually going to start with the zoning board, or let's start with, yes, well, no, but it's over here, they have it different, so I'm going to do it this way. So we're going to start with the zoning board of adjustment. So we'll have Mr. Lybel, is that right? Did I get your name correct?
Lubel.
Lubel. Mr. Lubel and Mr. Augustine. Come up to the table. Mr. Augustine is applying for planning and zoning. We have one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, how did I get him on here? Sorry. so, the way this will work is we'll start at each end of the dais here, and you'll be able to ask your questions. And then we will, move on to the next group after this, okay? Any questions? Everybody okay with that? All right, we're gonna start down here with, Ted.
A resident of the ETJ. Not familiar, no. So you're in the ETJ, and what subdivision are you in?
I'm sorry, I'm getting the whole question.
Where in the city of Wolverine do you live, sir?
I don't, I'm the ETJ, right? The bad, I served Mayor Barton, Warrenville Planning and Zoning Commission. Was on it for all the years, so I guess 2022 or 2023. And Mayor served on Planning Commission with Mayor Jeffrey. After he became mayor, they discovered that it never mentioned that you could be in the ETJ and serving on the board. So Mayor Jeffrey met with the other council members, and they passed where there could be a member that lives in the ETJ to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I don't know about Board of Adjustments, if it went along, roll it over to the board. And
Well, I'm glad that they did that, because we've had several outstanding members of planning and zoning commission and other commissions who have come from the ETJ and have served the city well. So I'm glad they did that, but you go back quite a ways.
I started when after they put all the cities together to form the city of Alberta, and that's when Mayor Barton appointed.
Yeah. 25 years, that's just.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Watson?
I'll try to speak up, Mr. Lubell. Thank you for coming and thank you for offering to serve. I have a couple of questions for you. You are retired currently, is that right?
I'm sorry?
You are retired currently?
Yes.
So you are not currently developing any properties? You wouldn't have anything that would be coming before the city? No.
When I was on planning and zoning, if I had a case come up, I would leave the premises.
That's a smart move.
So I was being, I say outside on that, until there was a decision that was voted upon.
So the zoning board of adjustment is governed by Texas local government code in addition to our own ordinances. And it's only allowed to grant variances on a strict unnecessary hardship standard. So how do you tell a genuine hardship apart from someone's preference?
I served on the board of adjustments for about 15 years in the city of San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
I served in all three boards. At the time, the planning and zoning were two separate boards. I served on both of those and on the board of adjustments. I was appointed by different city councilmen. Is how you became a member of the board.
Mm-hmm.
As far as making decisions, at that time, on the board of adjustments, one of the members would take turns going out wherever something was coming on the agenda. That way, that person could report to everyone else to get a better feel of the situation at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I never had a preconceived opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there are situations, circumstances that do come up, that it's not all by just the book of what the actual rules are.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, of course, that it goes to the courthouse on an appeal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you. That was the only question that I had for you. Thank you.
Councilman Kravitz?
I was doing this as a civic, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry?
I said, I'm just interested if you had an opening and you go interested, is a civic duty.
Understand, and we appreciate your willingness to serve. We're grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, I know who Mr. Nicky Lubell is. I know your vastly experienced in this type of thing, and I think it'd be a good fit on ZBA. It's certainly not an easy position to fill. Not a whole lot of applicants for the ZBA, but I think you're in the right state of mind. I don't have a problem with it.
Councilman Brown?
What sort of thing would make you say no on a request?
Sorry, I think my hearing aid, I need to try.
What sort of thing would make you say no on a request?
Depends on the situation. Depends as far as a board of adjustments, it's usually setback lines, side setback lines, or something of that nature that someone is trying to do something on, so you need to look at the case to make a decision. I do have some thoughts that when things are good, mother-in-law suite is gonna be built on a property where there's a house or some storage facilities, I'd like to see some more architectural control to protect the owners on both sides of wherever site is from that. I don't know how else to answer. It's on it as the case comes up.
How you answer is what I was looking for, and I'm satisfied.
Councilman Alexander?
I just want to thank you again for volunteering and wanting to work with us on the zoning board of adjustments. So I appreciate that. Sounds like you have a lot of knowledge and background in it, which is good, and I think it's a good fit. Just by hearing the questions about the other council members and asked you, I think it's a fit for that. And appreciate your willingness to serve.
I like the idea of it's only appears that there's not that many meetings, 4 or 5 meetings.
Sure.
You are correct. You understand the importance of this position in itself. So this is a very important position to be on. So it's critical to the city as well. So but you understand it. It's got probably the least meetings. So like you said. So but when they do come up, they're important decisions to be made on it. So appreciate that.
Thank you for your prior service, and thank you for your interest in continuing to serve. It's a big deal. I don't have any questions for you, just want to say thank you.
Good evening. I do have a question. So I want to know why you were interested in the appointment.
Why am I interested?
Why are you coming back? Why are you so
My
interested now?
mind needs to be a little busier. I served on committees. I moved out here in 1996. Before that, I was in the city of San Antonio, started in about 1970 on boards. So I've always enjoyed being on boards and making decisions.
What was the biggest issue that you had, and one of the most trying issues that you had in the 15 years that you were on P&Z?
I would say right at the top of the list was Home Depot. They were given 10 acres of land to build a library. I thought it was extremely important that that take place and that the community had a library. I like the idea of the stage theater coming into a small community and having other things that take place. And I think it's proved out that way, and I think that one, and maybe the Johnson Ranch was another very extreme. And I spent a lot of time with the developers of Singing Hills. Those were probably the 3 toughest to make decisions on. And they all seem to work out.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying?
Sorry.
I said, what were you saying? I think we interrupted you.
A developer, I'm sorry.
No, I said, I thought we had interrupted you. I was going to let you continue.
I've enjoyed it. It doesn't bother me. Just one way or the other. I think I served with 2 of these gentlemen over here, maybe on PNC, or maybe just, yeah. Maybe.
Yep.
All right. So, do we have any more other follow-up questions down here at this end? No. follow-up questions down here on this end? No? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Lubell, and we'll ask you that you return to your seat there, and then we'll discuss it in an executive session.
I look forward to your.
All right,
Thank you.
absolutely, absolutely, sir, thank you. All right, so we're gonna move on to Planning and Zoning Commission. So we'll have all of those that are here for the Planning and Zoning, which will be Mr. McCullough, Mr. Augustine, and Mr. Miller. Okay, yay, thank you for the name tags. All right, so the way we'll do this one is, we'll ask the questions, since we have a group of y'all here. We'll go ahead and ask the questions. Questions can be directed at each, and you can have up to 5 minutes for your questions on this one, since we have 3 candidates here. We can go back after the fact, and if you have anything else, by all means, ask for the floor. Okay? All right, and then we'll start down here with Councilman Brown.
How would you say you balance respecting private property rights while also protecting the long-term character and structure capacity of the area?
Sorry.
Okay, we'll start.
Left or right?
We'll start with Mr. McCollum closer to him.
Mr. Miller.
Okay.
Sorry for the question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, got messy notes.
That's right, it's the infrastructure, where you balance the private property rights.
How do you balance respecting private property rights while also protecting the long-term character and structure capacity of the area?
Well, number one, the infrastructure is probably the critical. We don't have water, sewer is almost impossible, so that kind of limits a lot of things. Not gonna go put sewer systems everywhere. So, yeah, kind of one thing drives another. And the other thing with private property rights is we have to give enough, but that state law kind of is pretty loose. So already has some good regulations that keeps it contained to. And also, I'm the developer of all my acres state laws. We need to update the we're state limits now. So I've learned a lot through that, and I'm fairly new to learning all the nuances, everything, but I'm trying to learn here to volunteer, educate myself, and also provide some feedback from my point of view. But that's the biggest limitation is you can't grow without utilities and infrastructure roads. I mean, they just paved everything and go to the ground. But it's been really nice, but you go build another subdivision, the roads are gonna have capacity, the intersection in imminent already is a mess. It's gotta get more. So stuff like that, it kind of, one thing leads to another, but you gotta look at it backwards just as much as you can forward with private property. So it's not just a direct, how do you protect this private landowner? It's how does that impact everything else? And looking back, well, what can we do for that land to make it not affect everyone else's? And so that's my point of view.
Mr. Augustine.
Yeah, I think that, it all starts with city ordinances, right? So how do you use what's available to protect the property owner, but also being mindful of ideas that others might have on development that, is coming, right? So making sure that everything's taken into consideration around infrastructure, traffic, drainage, safety and quality of the community, right? So what's the best interest of the residents, and then how do you take what is coming along and fit that within the vision of the city?
Mr. McCollum.
Yeah, so I think these gentlemen said it pretty well, but how I really try to balance it, I think our code is very protective, it's generally very protective of current citizens, right? I think it's all a big balance of the growth that wants to happen, the growth that we want. we want to allow to happen, but also making sure that we're being protected for here probably more so than right. We want to protect the people that have been here, what's gone on here, the character, like you said, of the hill country, and what Wolverine's been. But at the same time, right, we've got the good restrictions that we kind of put in place, and really it's kind of a big balance there, right? If we're getting something good for that, like something I always felt like, okay, we're getting something good for the community out of that. We really need to, maybe there is an adjustment to be had there. And a lot of times, there isn't, right? There's not a good balance. So that's generally how I see things, right? We infrastructure issues, right? That all costs money, tax dollars, things like that. So we really got to make sure we're balancing all that. But I usually come at it from the lens of, right, let's not go put something really near somebody who's living here a long time. It's sensible about where we may allow that to happen. Right? We know that it needs to happen. Let's be sensible about where.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Councilman Alexander.
Thank you for your willingness to serve as well. Appreciate y'all going for this, and it's good to get volunteers. We're all volunteers, so appreciate it. I'll say that over and over. So the more we get, the better we can serve the community. Go right. So one of the questions I have, and they'll be for each of y'all, same way, is what makes you want to be a part of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and what do you see, or what outcome are you expecting the city and the community benefit from that? We can start with you, Brett.
Sure. So I'm currently serving on planning and zoning, a career appointment cycle. I was an alternate for the first kind of like 6 months, so 9 months or so, and then I got appointed to a full term. So I've been serving for a while. So again, I really focus on balance of what we're doing, right, on planning and zoning, really making recommendations to you all. I see us as, again, that kind of first layer of getting through a lot of this, just kind of things that are being outlandish that the developer may bring, really kind of putting the core things to you all that, like, you all really need to take time to really think about, right? There's certain things I feel like, specifically around tax, you guys are elected, right? I'm not elected, I'm appointed by you all, but that's a decision I usually let the council want, make things like that. That's kind of the things I point to, but with some of the other things we've had come before, it's really cut down, trying to really cut down on stuff, really only give you guys that specific stuff. You really see and really kind of weed some of that stuff out. There's been applications we've got 3 or 4 meetings, like we're just kind of constantly trying to whittle stuff down. So to really just give you guys this is the balance I try to work with. That's really the outcome I'm trying to get good recommendations to you all. If you really need to look at this, right? Sometimes we just go, hey, this is not where it needs to be. We would deny it outright. They don't want to change it. That sort of thing. So that's always kind of the way I would be out there, trying to boil it down. Really actionable. It's a lot.
Thank you. Mr. Augustine?
Yeah, I'm fortunate that I have some time now to leverage my background, provide some, I guess for me, to get to a point where I can provide some community engagement, right? And this is one of the things that fits my background, heavy industrial construction, and a long-term resident, and just the way that we're seeing growth right now is just trying to use some of my experience to provide a practical perspective on growth, right? So finding zoning requests and how that just impacts the community in general, right? And making sure that, again, whatever is put in front of the community commission, that it fits within the vision of the city and kind of what the residents are talking about, right?
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
So I applied because I've seen the other side when you and Councilman Groth sit around since I started here. We're now approved under construction, so there's not a conflict of statement. I learned a lot going to P&Z meetings than coming to y'all and understanding. Brad was there for almost the whole time for when I was there. But seeing things from my point of view, there's not many developers that have been on the P&Z that do it, that actually have the time to do it. And looking at things from that point of view is not always a bad thing. Like, I still have the same goals. I live in Montreal, moving to Berkeley. I'm not leaving. There's not many developers that are actually up here. So looking at it from a different lens, and just like so we have construction, development, we can angle it different ways that people are trying to piece this apart and be smart enough to put it back together and say, here's what we need as the current code, how it applies. Looking to just change something. Maybe here's a better idea, there's great. Here's better this guy's, he's been around for 5 years. And so it's like, hey, maybe there's a way to do this, maybe there's not, and y'all just need to stop. But having that background, I think, potentially could help.
Thank you.
Councilman Gott.
Brad, I don't have a question for you. I really appreciate everything you've done to help us out, guidance you've provided. Mr. Augustine, you're the first new face to me, and we have seen each other across the way. To be honest with you, I'm a little skeptical about your application. So I imagine you are ready to receive that too. But
Sure.
And I understand that y'all are all here, all both here under the purest intentions. And I appreciate what you're saying about forest with trees, different perspective, different lens to evaluate something and provide the guidance to the council. So I really look forward to that aspect of it. What type of, that's the question. At what point would you find it appropriate to recuse yourself from deliberation and discussion on now?
I'll answer for myself. So I'm a broker. Anything I'm brokering on the buy side or sell, right? If I consult on development, anything like that, it's just all public knowledge when people sign stuff. And then I'm not doing another residential development. That was a one-time loop deal. So you won't see that again. But anytime I'm developing, you have to recuse yourself. And I've done that in other situations. I'm not in council, it's just with clients. You have a conflicting account. You have to pull back and like the per trend, actually real estate commission, you have to do a certain thing to be either intermediary or you just pull back and bring the broker in to handle the other side. And so my intention is to educate and be on that side of it. I'm not working on it being forward, that's why I'm not learning construction, but nothing happens here. And so I'm pretty much good. Everything else I do is outside of first division. But no, there could be refusals, but I don't have anything active nor anything in the pipeline for the next 2 years. You know, I think the term is 2 years, so there's nothing. But I don't. That's a big conflict. That's the no.
So that question wasn't a technical character. I just want to make that. Yeah, I just
No, I
understand
thought about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The developer is a big fat word. I mean, it is. Yeah, it's not, I'm not pro development. That's why I did 5 acre lots. I thought it was the best use of what I stumbled upon. And I didn't want houses. Like I'm maybe gonna live in Montchola or I'm gonna live there. I didn't want a ton of houses. Like I moved to Bulverde 7 years ago because of that. And when my wife moved, loved it. I'm trying to keep it Bulverde, but there's different techniques that developers are using that, hey, maybe this is what y'all need to watch out for. And we do that, you do that P and Z and try to be the smart guy behind the scenes before these guys start pushing through. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I know I've done it. There's nothing I did to y'all. People are smart and they have all these fancy attorneys and all that stuff. It's interesting.
This is not my core arena. This is obviously y'all. So we definitely rely on your guidance. The only reason I asked that question, that's my only concern, is because I grew up in a town that it was precipitous with 1 or 2 people who's on a board and advisory, and then you get a few people that have entanglements, and then at that point, my hometown was just.
That happens with as a council thing, really.
Yeah.
It's not PNC.
I know it's not
PNC.
PNC.
I'm not doing that as a courtesy.
Yeah.
I'm not on my day. No, that's, yeah. People, that's how Singing Hill, I think, happened or something, wouldn't it? From what I gather, there was a different council and stuff out.
I'm glad to hear you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm doing this because I saw it several times on Facebook. And I talked to Heath. I talked to Daily a little bit. I was like, why? Okay.
Right.
That's
You
perfect.
guys are
very open as you can tell. Like, I'm not trying to hide anything.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, I just want to make sure you guys hear some intentions tonight.
I don't have anything more. You won't see a sign up, maybe a sign up.
All right. Well, I don't have any questions. I'm not going to grill you guys. I just want to talk to you.
I didn't even let you talk to me. Go ahead.
Did you want Mr. Augustine?
No, he's a fresh face. That's the only thing I can't see anything on here. You've been in here asking for things a number of times.
Well, you should come check it out. Our things for generally environmental protection of different things.
Right.
You know, well, it's really money. But come out there sometime or look at the inspection reports I've sent to the cities. We're coming along and it's looking nice.
I know you do fantastic work. Everything you've done is top shelf. So it's always easy work.
I haven't been turned down. So like I said, I do what I promise.
You've done it right. So we haven't turned it down.
So.
I'm good.
Councilman Hawkins.
Brad, I'm not going to direct anything. You were directing.
No, already.
I worked with Brad for 2 years when I was chair of planning. So Brad's work speaks for itself. It was a pleasure to work with and a library of information about issues that come before planning and zoning. The question that I have for both of you gentlemen really concerns me because you are going to need to get the planning and zoning to learn how that organization, how that money works. And secondly, you're going to have to commit to learn how this city council works. When I was in planning and zoning, I think I didn't miss a council meeting for 3 years because I wanted to bring the recommendations of planning and zoning to the council, knowing how this council thinks. And the only way you're going to learn how this council thinks is attend the council meetings, watch the interaction between the members of council. So I'm interested in you answering these questions. First, Mr. Newland, then Mr. Augustine. What level of commitment in your career and your time allows you to be a participatory member of planning and zoning and add value to this community? That's really the key question.
So my understanding is once a month, is that correct?
Planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning is once a month. That's all right. So yeah, that's, I signed up knowing that, but then when I still. But it's anywhere from an hour, 3-4 hours, however long it is, every Tuesday or whatever month. I'm willing to volunteer my time to protect the liberty because I have an inherent interest for multiple reasons. Family, like I live here, I work here, like everything. So I will volunteer my time. It's just going to be some definite. I'm not done forever.
I tell you, you can spend as much as 8 hours preparing, and you may have to
That's
go
fine.
outside and walk.
I love doing that. That's what my career is.
Right.
So, and it's still funny, we're not going 2 hours apart.
Yeah.
So, and again, using my knowledge, seeing things, understanding why they're asking what they're asking, maybe there's a different point of view. Maybe there's a different solution there. Maybe there is no solution. They're wasting their time. But no, as far as commitment, yes, absolutely. That's why I wouldn't be here if I didn't have to. But that's not going to be something I'm not going to do. I'll do, if I'm fortunate enough, I'll do a term or two and just hopefully add some value. And if I like it, great. And pretty honest person, is where we are. But I think there's definitely some knowledge coming from my side and going from 5 to 15 city council. Everything runs great, but seeing it, like explaining it from y'all's point of view, they're all accurate, but it's, I'm agreeing with you for different reasons. That makes sense. Because I'm out here doing this, and you're seeing it right for this reason, I'm seeing it right for this reason. We can have them together as a same. You're right, I'm right. But now we see why we're on the same page. I think it will help already in the future understand the progression of what's coming. We already know what's coming. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of money, a lot of people chasing stuff, but if you can use my knowledge and y'all's intelligence on the books and codes, like Keith and Bailey are amazing about codes. And so I do everything. But using that with real life knowledge, you set up tougher for the future. Does that make sense? Because it's going to happen, something. And we want to be able to control it within reason what we can. I'm committed.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, one week a month is not a problem. I think there's a lot of, prep time that we spend just getting ready for meetings. And then I'd also like to be involved with recommendations that come before the city council. So, I have no problem.
So, planning and zoning, the agendas have been relatively short for the last couple of years since the water situation became what it is. But prior to that, Joe can attest, planning and zoning used to be significant. And you spend a lot of time in prep, and there was a lot of stuff coming at you. So that's probably going to come back.
So the cash interest meeting like 6 months ago was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
So everybody knows that. And yeah, PNC and accounts, I watch them a lot. I'm not here a lot of YouTube screens.
Yeah.
So I watch them. But so those are the ones those are the people that they're intelligent enough, but having someone that's done it too, kind of, hey, here's some notes. Let's keep it on. That's why I'm here.
Right. And this room is going to fill up. And if you can stand it outside, there's going to be a lot of fun here. Yeah. You're going to have to take that pressure and do
listen to people's opinions. And do what we think is right along with the code. Well, you can do it right. It's an advisory commission. They all said.
Don't council. I'm laughing.
Hey, you, it's fine. Brad, like everybody else here, I thank you for your service, and we're grateful for your expertise and the way you bring it to bear on behalf of the city. So, I have nothing for you. Other gentlemen, and I don't really care which one of you goes first. I noticed that there was a similarity of language in your application. Both of you use terms like responsible development and thoughtful growth. I'm going to be upfront with you and tell you that those are red flags for me. That usually comes from people like you who are developers and who want to make some money here in Woodbury. And I am not anti-money. I'm not even anti-development. I am anti-people who want to come in and make the most and bail out of here and leave our taxpayers to deal with, as you said, the roads, which are a problem. And so I'd like to hear from each of you, what do you mean by responsible growth, responsible development? What does that look, what would that look like to you?
So now let me speak first, actually. So to make one thing clear, I work for an industrial contractor.
Yep.
We build projects all over the country. I don't think there's anything industrial place where it's right. We build power plants, refineries, like that. So when I think of growth, right, it's more personal for me being a long-term resident. I'm trying to bring all the things that I've experienced across the country, knowing how development and projects impact local communities and all the intended or unintended consequences. I know that when we pull into a community and we start setting up for this project where we run 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people on a shift, working with local law enforcement, traffic, community leaders to understand which roadways are unavailable for construction traffic, right? And then getting in and out construction periods, right? So to me, that's what I'm talking about when I reference responsible growth. And development is just making sure that those kind of items are really taken into consideration by people trying to come to our team.
Can you give me an example of unintended consequences? What are some of those?
So people are traveling, right? People trying to get to and from work, and when you start, people start creating their own shortcuts through neighborhoods that have all the regulatory signs. It's setting up stations to catch people that we direct to avoid those roads, right? We don't want structured traffic for employees coming in and out of work. We go into neighborhoods and creating So it's those type of things that I think of as things take a shape of their own really pretty quick, and you have to find a way to pull them back into them.
So your perspective is more practical in the moment as development is occurring. Okay, do you have any thoughts about what responsible development looks like on a larger scale for?
I think it's understanding, right, the ideas from the developer, how that fits with the vision. I think there's a lot of things that we need to consider when you're evaluating density, right? So apartments versus housing versus shopping centers, commercial, just all that kind of stuff.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mueller.
So responsible growth, it's like a buzzword. Opposite of that is like growth. We don't want that. Responsible growth, you're gonna have growth. There's development agreements and works on CO Council. There's a lot of land that will be brought here. It will be developed. Some of it already has vested rights to be developed. And so the community codes are great, and you can enforce those. Again, going back like a national, you have the codes to enforce what you want to be responsible. That developer doesn't want to do that. He wants variance. Well, we have to stick to the responsibility within a reason. All right, we want 1 acre lots and not 5 lots, whatever it ends up being. Same thing with commercial land. So that years ago we adopted the adjusted use, what I forget what it's called.
Comprehensive plan.
Now that, yes, Now, I was here for a bunch of those when my time was up, to talk, but that has locked down a lot of the uses, and it has limited, it has created responsible growth, unless you come for a variance or you come for some sort of SUP or zone change or something like that. And so, responsible growth is keeping to the plan. It's not going out there and giving variances to everybody. When someone comes with a vested right lot, it's keeping to the theme of Laverne. Maybe we want a local concept in there. Okay, you can have X, Y, Z, but we want a local concept in addition to this. Then we can talk about this, because you do best have vested rights. You can't stop you, but we can control it. And that's responsible in my opinion. You're gonna have that. By the way, maybe you should widen this road. And I don't know if some of this is text out already. I don't know where to cross over, come out kind of stuff. Road impacts, all that. Can you get water? Do you have a USA sewer? So it's understanding all that. That's the responsibility I'm talking about. Then someone who comes 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, is explaining what the Bulverde growth mantra is. And it's preset in stone already once everything's been set, approved. So that's my version of responsible growth. It's going to happen. It's just slowing it and containing it within our codes as best possible.
Okay, thank
With
you.
the ones we can.
Thank you.
Councilman Craig.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something of value having, individuals from these certain backgrounds serve on P and Z. I mean, I guess it takes one to know one, I guess, but, and Mr. Augustine, you said, I read your profile, your application here, that you live on Persimmon Hill. Yeah, how long you been there?
14 years.
Wow, yeah.
I'm Brickfield, a new family.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, they're doing some things on P and Z your neighbors don't like, you're gonna hear about. Yeah, out there. But, and Mr. Mueller, I mean, Mondiola, developing 5-acre tracts, I think that's right down the line of what the community wants. I guess I'd just like to hear more about how do your engineering, construction, and development experiences lead to finding a middle ground between property owner rights and what the Bulverde community wants as a whole.
So the rights are still set. Our codes have enough regulation on there that we can control what we want. It's how loose we want to be with other variants. And that's being in the weeds of it. We don't have to do a whole bunch. We can just sit back and say, here's the book.
Sure.
Follow the book.
Sure.
So you don't have to do anything. Now, again, responsible growth when it comes to Boston. Responsible growth is maybe we want to have give them a little bit now, or we wait 5 years and things change, Texas law changes, something happens, and we lose control.
Right.
So it's like, do we give them a little crumb now to win and get control,
Right.
we all get to control it, or we push it off and say no, and 5 years, Texas, there we go.
That's a $1 million question, yeah.
And so it's already happened for
Yeah,
trees.
right.
So
And there's more stuff
where
in
does
the
that stuff
pipeline.
happen? And y'all know way more than I do about that stuff.
Right,
I just see
right.
it from my point of view is maybe if we have a little bit of our finger on what's going on, give them this, they can do that. All right, we're happy enough. Let's do it.
Right, right.
Because we don't want to push it off too far. But
Right.
yeah,
The
you see
Texas,
where I'm going with that?
yeah, I get what you're saying. The
I
Texas
totally
legislature,
But, yeah,
there's always stuff in the pipeline coming down. And the developers like to paint this picture that if you don't do it now, it's gonna be a lot worse than I can do it. So, I mean,
correct. So the developers are the ones, we should be worried about the council, it's worried about the state stuff. The
Right,
developers
right.
should be worried.
It's a never ending
And
battle.
so that's why the stuff is getting forced all the way down to us.
So that's the $1 million question though, I guess, is do we approve this now, accept a negotiation as opposed to just seeing what comes down from the state in a couple of years? I mean, so, and that's up to individual interpretation, I guess, in your character.
And that's where us, the developer, we're assuming, let's say, that's where P and Z, the developer, try to weed it out, get to some sort of common ground.
Right, right.
I'll say.
Yeah, you're the first filter.
Yeah, exactly. Send it back to whatever. So that's, again, that's my point of view, my vision.
Okay.
And why I'm trying to go to the time.
Yeah, well, thank you for applying. Mr. Augustine, same question.
Yeah, so I think that there's an extreme loyalty to the local residents that I think we need to apply some just some common sense when evaluating proposals, right? So if somebody's bringing in an idea, how does that fit with what's in that area already, right? So not to disrupt the aesthetics or, you know,
the hill country feel
Yes.
of the word.
yes, right? So, yeah, that's what I think of when you ask that type of question.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
to protect the property rights owner, or the owner's property rights. Yeah, we gotta, I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, the good one, that was this tough to answer is the stuff next to Gloria Deo that was presented. That was a really cool presentation, but what is really gonna happen there, kind of thing. So
Exactly.
that's a good example currently we all having, PNC is having to deal with. Where does that end up? Because I saw A to B to C to all the C on that presentation.
Right.
But that's a good example of how far do you push us, well, 30 now versus give them a little bit and then get it locked in.
Right. Yeah, we're seeing it more and more often.
And if people are getting smarter, there's more money, there's gonna be more people coming up for doing.
Yeah, like you said, people are sly. It's good having that background.
And I've seen y'all change some of the codes for the better over those last one. So that's a lot of.
And that's a never-ending process.
That is, and some of those actually I had variances on, so I'm glad y'all changed them. Saves the future need or something.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you.
I guess same question for Brad.
Why
not?
Sure.
You've been quiet.
Yeah, I mean, right, so I'm an engineer by training.
Right.
It's like what I do, right? So that's usually like, you know, especially on PNC, that's a lot of the lens I look at a lot of projects through because it's very important to us, you know. I've done hydraulics, like that's background business.
Right, I can see that in the meeting.
Yeah, and so like, right, unfortunately, Michelle's, because she's like my tree person. Tell me, right? So somebody's got to pick up that stuff. But no, I think it's very similar to what's in this, right? Like it's balancing all those things. I think it's right. Somewhat, I don't want to say take the deal if the deal's good, but you know, at the end of the day, right? Like if they're keeping with what we want, it's good comprehensive planning that the city's doing. I think it's something we've got to look at. Outside of that, then we really have to say, guys, the code is a code. This is what we've all agreed to. This is what we spent hours developing a plan for, to try to implement, right? This is what we really need to go out and do at the end of the day. So,
Right.
again, it's weeding through all that stuff, getting down to the root. Like, what do you really have to have for this project? Because they'll bring us every.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what I really enjoy. Beating down to that stuff. Okay, what do you just not live without? It's gonna wreck your project. Right. And now it's really about on that, not all this other, you know, stuff that you want to kind of go crazy on.
Right. And you've had the experience of meeting after meeting after meeting,
Yes.
whittling down.
Yes. I mean, I can think of probably 4 or 5 applications I wrote down 2 or 3 meetings, trying to get it down. Mainly because again, when I send something to you guys, I want you guys to hopefully be able to resolve it. And then there's been some things, right, that they promise that are so outlandish. It's like, I don't even know where to start with this. I'm just going to send it to council tonight. It's like, you guys are not being right here. You got to bring me something that you can really negotiate on.
But, you know, we all represent the city of Fort Worth and everybody that lives in it. I think we all want the same thing, especially, I mean, y'all two live on East Hammond. I mean, you're exposed to more traffic and utility problems than anybody. So, yeah, I think I'm about done. So.
I have a couple of questions. So, thank you for applying and for wanting to be part of the 30 and to be part of our future processes. So I have a question, and you talked about your inherent interest, and I was reading here, and this is directed at Mr. Mueller, that you are a site selection for AT&T, Sherwin-Williams, Buffalo Wild Wings. Is that something that you're looking to do here as find commercial businesses in the area? Okay.
AT&T is at Sing Hillfield, Sherwin-Williams down 46. We're good.
Okay. So you're not working with anybody right now or in the future?
No. I have urgent care, Next Medical Study bought that land. We were negotiating for. That's 5 years ago. I don't have any clients interested in already here, or there's a competitor. No.
So but you don't foresee any of that in the future. Okay, and so let me ask you, what is your vision for Bulverde, and what do you think ours is?
So what I think we should, it needs to continue doing is local growth. You're gonna slowly grow. Do I like Thornbrook? Not necessarily, because we're the best, you got the best investing opportunities. But it's controlling traffic, it's controlling growth, and it's crazy utility issue. Having some more services. And do we need another restaurant? I'm glad that one opened up that road, but there's a lot of people moving here. When Thornbrook fills up, there's a lot of people over there that are gonna look to eat. So where do we go? Can we create a responsible growth of XYZ local service, and then maybe you have to put in a fast food guy, because that's how you're gonna get this thing done, and pay for the rest of the guy to supplement their deal. And those ones, going back to, if things are going to happen, let's try to put a pulse on it, because everybody's moving up here. Bulverde is, I think we can do something in front of the best city that would be. I don't say Bernie, because Bernie is a different deal, but if you control growth in a good way, just with the regulations and slowing things down. But I think there shouldn't be too much change over the next decade, minus the 281. Everything else would be very difficult to develop. This is coming from a developer's perspective. To develop the best of the land is very challenging, very expensive. And so you probably won't see too much activity on a lot of that stuff. But 281 is where you're going to have the biggest hard time with people chasing the stuff. Now, whether that be retail or whatever, office, apartments, all that stuff. Now, do I agree with all that? Not necessarily, but I think that you'll have to find that balance of who do you let in, and who do you let in maybe with that to get everything done to serve the community. Because there will be enough services needed that we can't just neglect. They can go spend their money down in San Antonio or spend their money somewhere. That's a lot of the same, minus the 281 for. I think that's what a lot of
Mr. Augustine, thank you. And what do you want to change? And I know by living in Persimmon Hill, and I'm listening to your comments about traffic coming through Persimmon Hill. We know exactly what that is. But how does that work on a bigger scale for the city in your thought process?
Well, I think it's some of the road work that's going on right now, giving people better route, get in and out. Right? So when you look at the things along Persimmon Hill and Brand Road, from Hammond to 46, right? There's a lot of bike traffic, pedestrian traffic, always people walking into beautiful neighborhoods, right? People biking. I think it's, providing better pathways for widening and road, Bulverde Road. People are better off to stay on versus trying to get through.
Okay. And is that the same for your vision for Bulverde as a whole?
Yes.
So for both of you, you do know that variances are only allowed for merchants. We have made that comment earlier on, correct? And we are getting lots of variances for stuff that should not even be considered. I think Mr. McCullough of your Brad knows that we talked about one that was about fire, right? They wanted a variance. They wanted a variance on a smaller road, which they never ever conducted an interview with the fire department to find out the police truck would never, the fire truck would never even been able to make it down the road for fire, okay? So we have a lot of other issues going on here in Bulverde that you are going to need to, be very attuned with and understand what's going on, and discussing with, other people outside of your meetings. So this position is going to include a lot more hours than just 1 hour, and understanding what you are going to be involved with and making a decision on. Council as a whole has been looking at a lot of things. I mean, there hasn't been, I know for me, I would never ever approve a fire truck not being able to make it down the street, right? So to have these developers understand that and not to pull the wool over our heads, which they've done. We've had developers walk in here, and one meeting they're telling us this. By the end of the meeting, they're telling us something totally different, which wasn't even what they proposed or presented either to P&Z or to us originally. We've had to do a lot of changes on how we receive information by the time it gets to council. What y'all may be making a decision on is not ultimately what they end up presenting in council. So your decision now is no longer lucrative to what we're looking at, right? So it's getting set back. We need to make sure that, with all the things that developers try to do, that we are constantly working on to be 2 steps ahead, right? I just want y'all to understand that it's a lot more than just a couple of hours. We expect for, you helping us before it gets to council and to be prepared to give us a good suggestion of what we should have. So I guess those are my comments of where we are. I don't know, does anybody else want to add questions? You have a chance to do another.
I have one. One of the key things that I like to add, and I've heard from you, Mr. Augustine, is the community. So keep that at y'all's focus. You're appointed to the board, that you listen, right? And you guys y'all bring a wealth of knowledge, which I appreciate. Y'all are very, very knowledgeable in certain areas, which is great. I think it's a great asset to have. But one thing that's important is the community. That's why we're here, and that's why the board is there as well. So whether we're looking at making some type of agreement, I'm not saying agreement, but looking at a variance and trying to find a way to make something work. Maybe that's not necessarily the answer to something like that. The community doesn't want it to begin with. So that's just one of the things that on that board that I think that really needs to be emphasized when you're making those decisions and looking at it. Yeah, you in particular may have the solution, right? You've done it, you do it, and you may have the solution for it, but is it what the community wants? Is it what your neighbors and the town is looking at doing? Maybe that's not the solution to the development or some type of depending on the situation. So just that's one of the key things that I would strongly suggest.
Double-edged sword.
Right.
Maybe I'm too smart, but I think I've heard help me. I just bite my tongue and double that.
The community piece is really,
yeah. Well, we're all part of it.
Well, I've had my mind changed on more than one occasion where it's not possible. I didn't pick up or whatever, right? And you guys might heard me say it, and I told you all of this one was I'm like, thank you for coming. I wish more would come and voice their opinion because I don't know. Unless you come tell me, I'm sure you guys are the same way, right? Like, unless you come tell me, I don't know. I'm just doing the best I can with what I got in front of me. I don't hear from the community. It's tough for me to make a call, or recommendation to you guys.
Yeah. Can I ask a question back to Mayor Base? So
Yes.
do y'all meet with PNC at some point or council?
No.
Okay, so
yeah.
Okay. So do y'all meet at PNC before meeting?
No, you can't meet outside.
No, you can't have a meeting.
You just show up and sit down.
Just as of right now, we have somebody who goes to the city council to give an update, or if they've got questions, there's an opportunity. We usually have at least one or two. No, so actually our chair has been going on occasion, especially when there's maybe something where it's like, hey, we deliberated this for an hour, she can kind of convince it out and kind of give it. Usually we have at least one council member, if not more.
If we don't attend in person, we review.
I want
Wait,
How much is the interaction between PNC and council officially interaction?
We're constrained by the Texas Open Meetings Act.
I figured y'all have way more laws than PNC does.
It's actually what our conversations happen here. This is it. We are not permitted to have forum.
Oh, that's why you have.
Right, there's a quorum, exactly right.
Oh.
So we have to be very
Same with us.
careful, and it's the same with PNC.
Oh, okay.
So
Usually not all 4 people stand around even after a meeting.
That's it.
you can't have that
So like,
conversation.
if I want to talk to somebody, they can talk to one person. You don't talk about these things. We just talk, like, even if there's 4 of us standing around, it could be construed as we're.
The other
Right.
thing is PNC is supposed to be an independent advisory body, so we have to be careful not to exercise undue
Okay,
influence.
that was the part I didn't understand.
So they're supposed to do their job and come to us and make a recommendation, and then we have a conversation here and act on that. I watch the YouTube I watched the video so I can kind of get a sense of what the concerns were and all of that, but we have to be very careful.
There's no collusion or collaboration. We're all.
I don't know, it's like, this guy, it's so cool, like, I don't know how it works.
They just want us to-
Very complicated.
That's it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go back to where we were. So, Councilman, Ted Hawkins, at the end, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right, so, it looks like we have completed. Anything else? No. So my only comment is, always know what the vision is for Bulverde, what people want here. People have been here for a very, very, very long time. And they have their own views of what they'd like to see. Not all of them will attend your meetings, like they don't all attend our meetings, but we hear about it. So you will hear about it also. Thanks for applying, and we very much appreciate having y'all here tonight.
Especially on Persimmon Hill, when we're running out of time.
Okay. All right. So all right. So we're going to move on to parking. Parks.
Thank you, guys.
Parking red.
Parks and Rec. All right. So that we have 4 here: Pettis and Ryder and Gottlieb and Ewing. Good evening, ladies. How are y'all tonight? Good. Okay. So just so y'all are clear, Shannon Ewing and Laura, how do you say it, last one?
Gottlieb, it's
Gottlieb.
German for God's love.
Okay, gotcha. Just wanted to make sure I say it right. And Gottlieb they are looking to continue to fill their positions. Ms. Ewing and Ms. Ryder, Ms. Ryder are applying. Okay, so we'll start down at the end with.
My note says Ms. Ryder is an incumbent.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. I am so sorry. That's okay. I'm so sorry. It's on the back side of my paper. I didn't turn it over. Okay, going back to Councilman Hawkins, we'll start with you.
I guess I'd be most interested in just we all have a vision for what we think will work function. What is motivating you to get off your duff and try to make that vision into a reality? And I'm not very it doesn't have to be elaborate, but it takes something special to go from thinking about it to getting out and working to make a vision come to reality. It's hard work. Hard work. So I'd like to know what motivates you.
All right. So a lot of the work that I do is create a culture of wellness, and typically that's been in the workplace. I see that it's vitally important in our communities. We've seen, sadly, school shooting not that long ago. The more engaged our community members are with each other, the healthier we are as a community. And so I do have a lot of passion around that. I'm very involved in the community. I'm part of the Stage Community Theater, on stage, backstage. I serve concessions and sold concessions last Sunday during the matinee show. I'm part of the Bulverde Bowling Club. In fact, I'm late for my game tonight to be here, but it's well worth it. In terms of vision, I guess 3 out of 4 of us would be looking to extend our term. I really hope that we can do that together. These are really incredible advisory board members. The continuity of what we started is going to be critical. Some things that are bubbling up the queue right now is we have Bulverde Park as a very recreational park, a lot of activity, a lot of beautiful activity. We're looking at enhancing that with some exercise stations to bring in adults into the community and engage them. In addition to the events, and I think earlier it was mentioned that we have stargazing combined with music in the park now, which is something that we're bringing together, and we see some value in bringing those events together for participation, especially the stargazing event. We have Crowitz Park that, we are looking at, sort of creating a personality where it's a gaming park. Right now it has the disc golf. We're looking at chess tables, backgammon tables, we're looking at cornhole games, where it becomes sort of this epicenter for gaming for our community. So gaming not in the sense of virtual gaming, but in the sense of actually interacting with each other, because that's where I see creating a whole community.
Right kind, yeah.
Personal interactions. Well,
For me, I've been in this community for 22 years, 22 years this month, holy cow. And for me, it was community involvement. I've been out here this long, but we have acres, so we don't really use the parks necessarily. But it's understanding, like, I had no idea that we have a third park over in Singing Hills that we're in charge of. Like, that was new to me coming onto the board. So for me, it would be more about like community involvement, making sure that the people that live here are actually utilizing the facilities that we're trying to improve. I know that we've had a lot of feedback and criticism from outside people who are, have issues with the park. Well, they don't understand what it brings to the table, or how much time and effort and funding when they want all of these things to get this park. Well, it takes time and effort and grants and applications, all of this teamwork in order to make that happen. And that's what I would really like to do to get off my boat, because my baby is going to be a senior this year. So I have a lot of extra time to do that, and I would like to be able to go to some of these events and get community feedback. Maybe utilize some more online resources to promote functions that we're doing, so that people understand kind of what goes into these parks and how that works.
Hi, I'm not a long-term resident like you guys. We moved here in August of 2022. We moved here from the Woodlands, and the Woodlands was my home. It's where I grew up. That's where I moved back to once I wanted to have a family. And one of the most attractive things about the Woodlands is the Parks and Rec. It's huge. It's massive. There's opportunities for all walks of life, and it's very family focused. One of the things that we looked at before we bought our home, I said, I want to go drive by the park. Where are we going to go? Where am I going to take my kids? Where are we going to spend our time? How are we going to meet our neighbors? And I love the park. It's beautiful. I love the hill country vibe of the park, with the cows grazing in the back and the horses and the airport. It's beautiful, and I want to keep it that way. What I would like to bring to the city is a more robust Parks and Rec program, and I would be bringing it more of a youthful, family-focused point of view. I find myself often looking more towards Bernie's Parks and Rec programs. How can we get engaged? Or New Braunfels. They also have a very big, robust program. So I'm full of ideas. I really want to bring more families and children together. I have 2 8-year-olds, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old, so I see a wide range. And I'm out there on the playground. I'm out there at school events, listening what we need, what we're doing great. So and I'm also not, I don't like to complain and not do something. So what are you going to do about it? Like, I find myself very often being like, I should join the board. I have so many ideas. Nobody's doing it. I should just get on the board. And one day someone reached out to me and said, would you be interested? And I was like, this is crazy. Yes, actually I would. I have some ideas too. So here I am. This will be my second term. Thank you.
Okay, hi. I usually stay in the background, but I have been asked to put in an application for Parks and Rec Board. I take care of the Bulverde Community Garden as volunteer. I take care of the operations, the project management, the volunteer coordination. That pretty much, that's where I'm involved. I'm already involved. I am from Michigan. I have been retired for about 10 years. The Army dumped me off here. And it was great. And I didn't go back to where I came from, because this area and this state spoke to me. I liked it. I wanted to stay here. And I've been a lot of places. So when I got here, we got out of San Antonio and we were like, let's move a little more. So we squeaked over to Indian Springs, which is on 281 on Bulverde Road. And as soon as we got here, I was like, there's this little town, just a little more north. It's Bulverde. They have a community garden. So before I even lived here, I was involved in the garden. And then I also enjoyed the park. So I was a squatter in the park. And I brought my son here, who's very energetic now. He's almost 17, but he's a very energetic child. And we ran around in the sprinkler, and we ran around on the swings, and did all the fun things. And when we decided that our house was too big and our yard was too small, which is a weird problem to have, but we moved into Bulverde proper. We live on Cedar View and Casey. And so we love it here. It's wonderful. Everything's the right size now. I'm a professional volunteer, pretty much. I volunteer at the garden. I volunteer at W. I've been on the library board. I am now not on the library board. And so I told somebody on the Parks and Rec board that when I come off this board, then you can ask me. And so I have been asked. And I am just happy to help the community. I believe in parks. I'm a Texas Master Gardener. I volunteer with that too. I love to put bugs in little kids' hands. I like to see people enjoy outdoor recreation. I like to see the kids play in the park. I like to improve our city or our town, city in a positive way so that people will get out and they will do things and they will meet each other and they will enjoy our space and here in Bulverde. Right. If you were, it's fine. Got it. She cannot get my name. If you were in charge and you could implement any program, it was your call. Money's not an object. This is the thing you think our Parks and Rec program most needs right now. What would that be? And we'll start down on this end, Ms. Perez. Sorry to put you on the spot.
I think we need more right now. I mean, we do, I know we have parkland over, that's just been cleared. But I think we have more residents and more people coming. I think we need more trails, more playground equipment for children. I think that we need maybe a little more nature type trail thing. I do like the idea that just happened with the exercise equipment to get adults out, get people moving. And that's really all I can think of right now is that, you know, having more and maybe a little more gazebo space. I don't know if, I don't know what the utilization of that is, but I know that it's pretty popular. So to have some more little covered spaces for people to meet at and have their picnics or what have you.
Perfect, thank you. Ms. Ryder.
I would love, if I were to envision Bulverde, it would be walkable. It would be Bulverde. I live in Bulverde proper too, in Bulverde Hills, and I love hearing that there's a bunch of kids biking down to the playground. I'm very much like 90s mom. Get off the screens, go connect. Where are all the kiddos? So I love hearing the girls going down to the park, but that's not safe. I know that neighborhood. I drive it. I'm guilty. These curves are scary. It's not the friendliest to walk in. So I envision Bulverde is walkable. I can go to Crane, I can go over to the Hatch, I can go grab a popsicle from the gas station, support these local businesses, walkable to the park. I'd love to see more hiking trails or like a nature center. I know we have like the Comal County Park, like Keel Park. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I would like to see more children's programs. One of the things that was so fun to me when we first moved here, Bernie hosted a preschool and lower elementary Power Wheels, Hot Wheels race. And it was like right on Main Street, and you just signed up, you brought the kids out, and they raced their Hot Wheels. And like we could easily do that down our main drag right here out front of Town Hall. So cute. You can get money from that, you get to pay a fee. I would just like to see more programs, walkability, hiking or nature programs. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Ewing.
I think I agree with the more.
Yeah, the more.
Because where I live too, I live right in between, I'm on Wolverine Road, in between John Charles and Casey. So you can't walk.
Right.
Even going up Casey, you can't do John Charles. That's a hike. But for me, and not being a part of the board, I did not realize that that's actually not a park that we have over there. It's just community property for Wolverine. But I was excited about the opportunity or the thought of having more walkable trails for more adults, because that's kind of where I sit currently. And I feel out of place going to the park because it's all just games and schools for little kids. And so I used to go running when I would drop my kids off at elementary school, but I don't do that anymore. But something that, somebody my age, I guess, would be able to just go walk. And we've talked about being on the board, having it something that we're a little bit more of the older community as well. That's where that park is more child focused, something a little bit more older adult in our community focused.
Thank you. Scotty.
This is why I want the continuity to continue working. They have great ideas. I would love to see more engagement. And so where I'm coming from is more activities that are promoted, sponsored, and really bring out community members. I personally love music in the park. I'm meeting up with members of my bowling team, friends and neighbors. We're all coming out for it. And I am someone who always comes out for 5Ks and races, things like that, because it brings people out the trot early in the morning. It's usually a little chilly that morning, but it develops this camaraderie and spirit of community. And so I think we don't have enough events. I would like to see more programs. I'd like to see those programs promoted with more people. I think the beauty of our community is we do have such a span. In fact, last meeting, we were asking about the demographics of our community. We have such a broad, we have young families, we have older people, we have just such a wonderful mix, and having something that appeals to all the different walks of life that are part of our community, and that also brings every generation of our community together, I think is really what excites me. So I'd love to see more of that. It involves a fair amount of coordination, risk analysis. I think we talk about all of it at our meetings. I probably shouldn't say this here, but I would love to see kickball at some point. But there's some risk involved in that.
I was going to say, are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, so we do weigh all the pros and cons of everything, and a very sensible group, and also very spirited and looking to really engage everyone.
Thank you all. One quick question, Ms. Perez, are you any relation to Dominic Perez?
I am not.
Okay, just the last name.
No, we don't have any local relatives.
Okay, that's all from me. Councilman Krawiec.
Yeah, I think y'all are all fantastic, enthusiastic candidates, and Ms. Perez, I love the park. I mean, the garden, and you've done such a fantastic job with that. And I think Tiffany brought up New Braunfels, Parks and Rec. I mean, obviously they're not as big as New Braunfels. New Braunfels has a $114 million fiscal budget and 100 full-time employees on Parks and Rec. But I mean,
Aaron's drooling.
Yeah, sure. But what I'm getting at is there's a lot of PWD grants for walking trails and sidewalks and all sorts of stuff. And I know that stuff's time consuming and there's a lot of effort involved. Would y'all be willing to go to these meetings and pursue these grants on behalf of the city?
We're working on it.
Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about in our last meetings is things that we can apply for based on our demographic and our size. So.
Okay, yeah. No, we just need fresh ideas and creative people, and I think y'all are all a great fit. So.
Councilman Brown.
As a question to your philosophy for this position, what do you personally, each of you, think makes a park or a public space genuinely valuable to a community? I'll start with Gottlieb.
Right, I think it's a combination of things. I think it's the open space. In fact, I just recently, just this morning, recorded a podcast with a world expert on Japanese forest bathing. And so having trees and open space where people can connect with nature actually improves well-being, mental health, physical health, lowers all, like indicators for disease. And so I think, I'm really excited that you're applying because we have all kinds of ideas on, for example, we've got like a little butterfly corner with a marker, attracts butterflies. Could we have something that attracts even more butterflies planted in that little triangle space?
I have to get it started.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. But this idea where there's just a lot of open natural space, we don't have enough of it, frankly, and it's so good for people, body, mind, and spirit. And so I think that's really key. I also think parks are as good as the people who fill it. And so, I've been around enough places in my life where I've seen empty space, not used, not engaged with, and it's actually kind of a little sad. But what I see here is something different. I see a vibrant community. People really coming out, engaged, involved. I see, all hours of the day, the parks being used by young families, kids, homeschoolers, what have you. And then weekends and evenings, it's a vibrant park. So it's a combination of the natural elements and the people who fill it.
I think for me, it's community. Like I would love to see more community involvement in what we're doing. I always say that I'm solar powered. That's where I get my energy from. You can always find me up at the pool or just sitting out on the porch. That's where I come from. So my kids are fabulous. And so that's what I would like to be able to see is a community where everybody enjoys the nature that we're providing for them as a city. I've talked about it in some of these meetings that we've had where we're posting stuff on social media, having events, having, I feel like personally it's a lot more maybe the outside, not necessarily the majority residents that are utilizing our parks right now. And trying to figure out a way to get the citizens, myself included, to actually want to go and engage and go to these events and utilize the park that we're providing for us. So
okay, I'll wait.
Okay.
What was your question?
What do you think makes a park or public space genuinely valuable to a community?
I think preservation of its culture. There's so much copy paste now. Everything just looks the same. There's no uniqueness anymore. And I think Bulverde has an opportunity to shine and be its own. And what makes Bulverde unique? And there is some culture, there's some history, there's the hill country, the chill country, the nature, the rural kind of meets San Antonio. Like there's something special about Bulverde. And I think when I go to parks where I'm really kind of like, oh, this is nice. It's because it's different. It's cultural, it's historical, it's preserved, and it's beautiful.
So there's something about its surroundings.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, my answer is kind of simple. It is, do people want to come to this park? I mean, basically, the park is only as good as, how many people or who it attracts. And also, do we have a mechanism in the city to tell people about the park and what's going on? No, we have a website. I do a lot of social media for, say, the library or the garden. I run a Facebook page, but are we drawing people into the park? Do we have things going on? Are people coming? And so I've lived in other places. For example, the first place that I lived inside of San Antonio, we had a nice little plot of land at the park, but nobody would come to it because there was just nothing going on. And the other thing is it safe?
You know, is the park a safe place to be for families? Is it inviting? Do people want to come? Are there things happening? Now, I know music in the park is really got it going on, because I'm usually at the garden and I hear it. I hear the music, and I see the buses going on, so that's a great draw. Just to have more things and more, like you said, unique things that draw people and say, we want to come to this park, we want to participate, we want to be part of the community. My son, go ahead. Are people going to come?
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, I don't have any specific questions. Just thank you all again for everything y'all done and for you being interested in serving as well. The parks committee, I've just seen it over the years, just thriving and growing. So I like the energy that y'all are bringing and what y'all are doing. And one of the things I would encourage y'all to do is to read the comprehensive plan if y'all have not read it, but a large portion of that did include the parks, right? So, I mean, everybody was ranking real high in that parks and the trails. Everything y'all talked about and mentioned is, you know, that's high on the priority list, right? So I think there's a lot of, you know, groundwork there that everyone wants and that they're looking for. And I like to think big, dream big, and how you get there, right? So it can take a stone at a time, right? But you know, make a difference in that can be huge and big for this community, because that's what they want. That's what's been said on the comprehensive plan, and that's what y'all are interested in. And you know, I'd like to continue to see that grow as well, because while we're not, you know, the city of New Braunfels, let's say we can't be heading in a direction similar to that with less, right? Because, you know, nothing's impossible. We got a great committee and a great backbone to help get there. So, yeah, I look forward to y'all continuing to shine in that department, and I like to, you know, make sure that, you know, as a council too, that we support you guys, and that, you know, if we can help assist and continue to get in any, you know, outreach that we can. It's just as far as what we can do, because I think that's big, and it's been growing. Like I said, the Parks Committee has been growing, and I want to continue to see it grow. So thank you.
I don't have any questions for the incumbents, just appreciation. Thank you so much. Jody, thank you for your interest, and I'm stoked that you're here. I see you're a master gardener. I'm a huge fan of this YouTube channel. It's called Crime Page with Bob Does It. You know exactly what
I haven't been involved in the gardening.
Okay, so with that being said, we've seen areas of improvement with that current setup at our park where we could add, take away.
I think it was a good step in the right direction to put in the butterfly portion. So I think that was a good thing. I did go over and look where it was placed, and I know that there were a lot of wildflowers and stuff growing over the sewer leach system or whatever spray system, whatever it is. I know that, see, I'm a no-mow person, so when they were mowing it, I was like, yeah. But at the same time, I don't know what happened.
It was legally required.
But see, the thing is that I don't know if it has to be or not.
It's a legal requirement.
So if it is a legal requirement, then that is what it is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they were clean.
Yeah. But maybe there are alternate places to put a little bit of, you know, pollinator or annuals or something to beautify the area, and then we could have what we need, you know, stuff that's legally required to be mowed, and also, you know,
not in the spray yard. Yeah.
So now it's a great idea to use a leach system, because obviously the water is there,
right,
you know, but it has its own issues as well.
Yeah, the value of you coming and being on the team is huge. And all y'all from walks of life, I think y'all know really well. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Hey, thank you, ladies. We're proud to have y'all here tonight. You know, parks in a small city is hard, right? We talk about infrastructure, we talk about other things, y'all have heard all of us talk about it tonight. And we have to get creative if we want to make it bigger, right, with what we got. I mean, it's gonna take grants, it's gonna take work, it's going to take a lot of stepping outside your comfort zone and actually looking to find those things, that it may not be low hanging fruit, right? But it will take work to get there. Hey, by the way, this is where the tree fund money comes in and help. Okay, but like I said, it's. I have never heard pickleball talked about so much until I read our Sunrise. Right, I think I stopped counting at 97 times. It was said in there, right? But read the plan, know what the city asked for. Think about what they wanted, where we're going. We are lucky as a small city to be able to have the park that we have. And I love driving by there and seeing it full. Okay. I don't know if I care for the bikers taking up all the parking on Saturday and Sunday mornings. But I still see the kids now. They figured it out. They're driving their bikes down there. Be careful on the road, like I said. But it's going to be work. It's not, and y'all are here, and I don't know if y'all know this. These are 1-year terms, okay? Not 2, like it said in the app. And so it's very hard to get a lot done in 1 year, right? Okay. And so it makes it something that you gotta, you've got 12 meetings to figure it out in. How long does it take you to write a grant? We know how long that all takes, but it's a lot of work. And I appreciate those of y'all that are coming back and want to continue working on this program. But I do foresee that bigger things for our park systems, and hopefully y'all's vision will come to fruition, and with a lot of work. And we are just lucky to have y'all here and be so energetic and wanting to do this for your different reasons. Jody, we can't wait to hear what you have to offer for the gardening part of our parks, and are just proud to have you be part of this. Okay. Does anybody have anything else?
I'd like to add one thing, if I may. And this was just raised today as I was researching all of you. It turns out that we passed an ordinance in 2023 making these 2-year staggered terms and then never implemented it. So we've put that up to our city manager as something that we need to address at some point. Would any of you have a problem serving a 2-year term? So you're one.
I'm a 1-year term.
Okay.
We're looking at it, unfortunately.
Okay. But the rest of you would be open to a 2-year term. We're not sure how that's going to shake out yet, but
I
just
personally would prefer it. I'm not
sure.
Because it's short.
Yeah.
Sure.
12 months went by so fast.
Yeah, this is one of those things that just slipped through the cracks, and so we've elevated that. We'll have a conversation at some point as a council about how to address that. But if you're not up for a 2-year term, we probably should know that now. And thank you for letting us know.
That's what. I got my question, Bill.
Oh, you have the follow-up, okay.
Yes, he had a question.
Oh, that's good.
Let me see. I remember. Yeah, Shannon said something about, you said large acre lots. Yeah. A lot of people have a backyard where we come from a lot of large acre lots. So, yeah, I've seen it myself. There's a lot of people that come from outside the city to use our parks. So what do you think would attract the people that pay for the parks, the people that live here, to the parks?
Personally, for me, I would enjoy more walking trails. Like I said, I used to run on the other one, but I've come across a couple kids.
Yeah.
So, and then like at times now where I would go and do it, they're filled, and it's not something that I don't like going to the park. Sorry, it's kind of the same little.
Yeah.
Park is always full now. So something.
Good thing, but
I think a walkable something. My husband and I talk about it all the time. Like you just unless you're going from one fence to the other, and there's really nowhere to like. Hey, if you wanted to go for a walk, we were gonna.
Yeah, it's a different viewpoint when you have a big backyard.
Because I even said like, well, and I used to too. I would go over to Hidden Trails and park in their park and run down Smith Valley Road and back. Because that's the extent of, So if we had something I mean, obviously not to that extent because it's a 4 mile run there and back, but something that would be utilized that way.
Makes sense, yeah. That question is open to any of y'all.
Events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think events would help draw people from Acreage to into the park because there's something to do.
Right, right.
Could be family friendly. The movie night, I've seen movie nights, they're good, the park is good, but maybe having a few other alternate events.
Okay,
at
yeah.
different times. Even the food trucks are a draw.
Yeah, yeah.
More interesting food type food trucks.
Especially being outside while eating.
People like being out, the evenings are beautiful here, the
Yeah.
sunset is unbelievable at that park.
Right.
The backdrop there, I agree with the events idea, and there are all kinds of things, I mean, there's so many ideas, and we just need, more time and get it going.
Okay.
That's
Great.
really cool.
Oh, just real quick, so Mike, Karen, Joey's appointed, she is a huge resource. Oh, yes. Think about erosion control, irrigation costs, like she knows which plants do what.
I do.
And it's a big deal in a state like
I'm
that.
HB special guest sometime for the Native Plant Society, yeah, so.
Yeah, because you spend thousands of dollars trying to keep a plant alive that does not want to live.
Alright, so,
Yeah, I think,
alright,
Joey
So-
and Adrian is the arborist.
alright,
Good.
so we're going to, complete this part of this, and we are going to adjourn for our executive session. So, 5A pursuant to Texas Government Code, and 551.074 personnel matters, the city council will meet in executive closed session to conduct, to discuss interviews of applicants for vacancies on various boards, commissions, and committees for the city of Bulverde, and we'll do this at 8:50.
Thank you, guys.
We're not announcing. No,
Okay.
no.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Oh, wait, I gotta put us back in. Sorry, we're going back to order at 8:56 PM. We have no follow-up out of executive committee. And we can actually adjourn this meeting tonight. Thank you, everybody who came tonight and who participated in our interview process. We really appreciate y'all. All right, thank you. Oh, and we'll announce, like, we still have some people that we're interviewing that aren't coming until the 9th. So just FYI, so you know what's going on.
That's why there's no.
We'll announce it as one slate.
Yeah, and we'll announce it all.
Yeah, I think our June meeting, we're still good for.
Yes,
Okay, I wasn't sure if y'all were trying to do it for that.
No, you're good with that. Okay, all right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
At 8:57 PM, Bailey, you good?
Yes, ma'am.